lads, so coming straight off of our 3-hour live stream where we tackled the very hard guild quest for the first time. I had a lot of fun. Appreciate everyone that came out to the stream. I think, personally, I have a lot of good to say in regards to this update, and this video does serve as my first impressions. As of right now, realistically, I only have one bad thing to say, but that doesn't really affect me. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. First up, let's talk about the very hard difficulty. I think it's a great change. One of the problems that the hard difficulty guild quest had is that you really didn't play the modes. You went in, used one soul bomb, and you were done. For a large majority of veterans out there that, consistently played the game, there was no game to be played here. You're just pressing one button. The very hard guild quest serves to change that. They have essentially killed nuking. Keep in mind though, characters with strong soul bombs are still important, so all those characters you summoned with the idea to nuke in mind are still good to have. They're still meta and relevant in this game mode, so no, for the most part, you didn't waste orbs. There are a few characters that maybe have lost a bit of value, like Christmas Noel, for example, but most of the recent nukers are still some of the better options to use in this very hard guild quest. And the way they have essentially killed nuking is that you can't use attacks, nor can you damage enemies when they first spawn in, which is kind of weird, I will say, but I do like it. Again, when we were doing these runs, I was actually playing the mode. I wasn't just going in using one soul bomb, for example. And one thing I do kind of like is that the spawns are the exact same every single time, so you know exactly what to expect going into the next wave. Previously, when it came to the hard difficulty guild quest, there was some RNG involved, whether your characters used the attack at the right time and whether you got lucky spawns. That was really dependent on getting a somewhat high score if you're in S League fighting for the top ranks. Now the RNG, there's still RNG there, keep that in mind. It comes down to if you inflict the status element, if your side character uses a strong attack. But what I do like is that when the cooldown period is going on, when you can't do damage, you also can't use your attacks. And that's really important because if that wasn't in place, there would have been times where you used a strong attack and therefore did no damage. But most importantly, your two side characters, the AI characters you have no control of, they would have used attacks, and that would have been a lot of wasted damage. So I do like they actually implemented that system, so therefore for the most part you don't have any wasted strong attacks. Additionally, at least in the very hard guild quest, they do add 10 extra seconds to the timer, and that essentially makes up for the 2-second cooldown in between waves. While we do have 70 seconds, essentially we still have 60 seconds to attack the bosses. So nothing in terms of the time has really changed. Of course, we've yet to see it, but they did split up some of the guild quests. Originally Sternritter, Squad Zero, Human, and also Quincy's were in the same week. They've now split that, so that overall adds more value to some new characters. Nat characters have now seen a lot more usage in this mode. Again, I'm using Tokinada, had a lot of fun using him. I like that a character I summoned 4 years ago has now some really good value and was ultimately one of the keys to beating this particular quest. I like that it is beatable, and I also like that you can also use SP characters. That was one thing we didn't know if a triple S team would be actually viable here. It is. Vortex characters are significantly more valuable here, since you can stop the enemy from actually attacking you. Freeze and Paralysis have also seen significantly more value because it stopped the enemy from attacking you. And debuffs should also be good here, since you are spending more time on any given wave. So yeah, personally for me, I don't really have any negative things to say about the difficulty and how very hard does work. I think it's a good thing. But that then leads us into the rewards, which as of right now are the most controversial thing, disappointing, but that really depends on the type of player you are. If you are currently consistently in S League, this is a great update. One of the better updates to come from Guild Quest. So coming from me as someone that's going to be consistent in S League, as someone that's going to probably rank between, rating number 1, rating number 2, I have nothing but praise to say for the rewards, because what we're seeing now is guaranteed rewards. Previously on the old system, rewards were RNG. Some weeks you would get 300 orbs. Some weeks you would get 400 orbs. Some weeks you might get really, really lucky and get upwards to 600 orbs, 700. But that was very, very rare. I did actually mark down some of the rewards that I did get in any given month in terms of the orbs. I did forget to record the last 3 days, but you can see there, we just got 400 orbs for being in S League. Your orb income was really dependent on the weekly rewards, and that was something that I didn't really like. You could put a lot of effort into your guild quest runs, more so than another player, and they could get significantly more rewards than you. It kind of sucked seeing you get 5 gold tickets in a week, whereas your guildmate ended up walking away with 100 orbs, for example. Now that's no longer a thing. Everyone in the same guild is getting the same rewards, so I do like that consistency, and at least when it comes to our total monthly orb income, depending on where you are, where you rank in the guilds, what guild you're in, for example, you can expect a certain number of rewards, which I really do like. As of right now, when it comes to the weekly rewards and also the score rewards, we'll talk about those in a minute. If you are consistently in S League, you're going to get around 500 orbs a month, which I think is great. That's way better than what I recorded last time, where I barely just got 400 orbs. So for me, this is a great change. When it comes to the score rewards, this one's the weird part, is that you're no longer getting daily rewards. You're getting overall a reward based on your score in any given phase. Right now, the highest is 161,400, 400,000. I believe to get that, you just have to beat very hard. So if you can beat the very hard guild quests, you're going to get all the rewards here. And for the most part, only look at the orbs, that's 20 orbs. If you can beat the hard difficulty guild quest, you're getting 50 orbs in a given phase. Remember, there are 2 phases, what happens every 3 days, and the rewards from the score reward are the exact same in both phases. So every reward here, essentially double it. But one thing that's weird with that is that we do get 5 tickets a day. But remember, in terms of rewards, you only get rewards from 1 ticket, your highest score, right? So I do think it's kind of weird they give us more tickets to use in any given day, but you don't get rewards for all those tickets. But overall, in a month, these rewards do add up, especially when you consider the weekly rewards. So again, as long as in S League, I'm getting around 500 orbs a month. I think that's a great change compared to what we had beforehand. However, the problem comes if you're not in S League. So right now, the winners of this update are those that are in S League. But going back to the scoreboard real quick, one great thing about this is that because you can get the rewards in 1 ticket, if you're super busy, you can still be a competitive guild quest player while doing less guild quests, if that kind of makes sense. So I think that's actually a great change. But going back to the rewards, right? Many of the weekly rewards are definitely important here. That's where most of your rewards are coming from, especially the orb income. And most of the complaining right now are coming from the A League players. B League, C League, which is perfectly fair. Because if you're not in S League, your orb income has now technically been lowered. So you'll see it, if you do rank in A League from the top 50, you are getting 50 orbs here. In a given month, that's 200 orbs. So if you are an A League player that cannot beat the hard difficulty of guild quest, you're going to get around 320 orbs a month. Again, the amount of orbs you do get is really dependent on how much score you can get in any given phase, and also what league you are in, right? So whether you think this is a good change or a bad change, it really depends on the league that you are in. Again, for me, that's in S League, I'm fine with the changes. But at the same time, I'm not that selfish, right? I do feel bad for those that are losing extra orbs incoming every month. While it is nice you are guaranteed to get a set rewards, which I will always take over RNG rewards, I think there's definitely some improvements to make, to say the least. If anything, all the orbs from C to S League should probably just get increased. So at the very least, those that are in A League can still get the same, if not better rewards than what it was like before the change. Because right now, the way it technically is, the rich get richer, right? While I do like that they've given you an incentive to play guild quests, work on your books, improve your score to get into an S League, because finally you're now being rewarded for being in the high ranks. That's never really happened. Yeah, it sucks for those that aren't in the S League. So is this a perfect update? For me, again, like, I'm an S League player. Yes, it's a perfect upgrade. I have nothing to complain about. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect for everyone. It's not. And there's definitely some improvements that Caleb can make. So I'm going to leave some feedback in the Discord. Everyone's already doing that anyway, so hopefully Caleb can address this, maybe improve on it. Many of those are A, B, or C, because for most players out there, majority of the players, to be fair, this is a step backwards. For those that are in S League, though, this is a step forwards. And I will say it's also nice they do give us Essence Scrolls. That's really cool. Those are kind of a rare item, besides, you know, orbs, for example. And you also do get that in pretty much every league, right? Yeah, so you're actually getting more Essence Scrolls a month, which is pretty cool. Unless you're in C League. In C League, the rewards are actually terrible, damn. So, if anything, as of right now, unless Caleb changed the rewards, this should, I guess, be more motivation to try and push harder for better scores and try and get a good score to get into an S League guilds, because you are getting significantly more rewards for being in S League. The score reward at the very least can probably get improved upon, so we can get more orbs when it comes to the phase ones, because right now, most of the orbs are coming from the weekly rewards. I would like maybe some extra reason to use all your tickets in any given day, because again, outside of doing your first run, you don't technically have a reason to keep pushing unless you're in an S League and you're trying to rank high, for example. For me, I'm going to be using my 5 tickets a day. I'll be experimenting, trying out different teams, making content on that. But for the average player, you have no reason to use your 15 tickets in any given phase. There are still orders for doing a certain, amount of guild quests. In this case, I just got 5,000, so I get 5 votes from that. But that's minuscule, right? So I guess there is technically still a reason to keep doing your 5 tickets a day, just to keep working towards this goal. But for most players out there, you might not really care about that, right? Either way, though, a quick recap. The new difficulty is quite challenging. You are rewarded, of course, for working on your characters. It is going to get easier as we do get the new bonus abilities sometime in the future. New characters find new value. Old characters like Tokinana, for example, are some of the key characters that beat this particular quest. Characters with debuffs. Debuff swordsmen are also really cool, so I do like that added value in some of those characters. It's really cool to use characters that I don't use all too much. It's nice to see the rewards be guaranteed based on your performance. It's easier to be competitive in guild quests since you only have to do your run once every 3 days. No longer do you have to spend hours a day to get a good score. So for those that are really busy, you can be in and out in basically one attempt essentially. And of course, the rewards have gotten better, but only if you are in S League. I think there's definitely some changes that KO can make in terms of the guild quest rewards, because right now that's essentially the only negative. If you're not in S League, the rewards have technically gotten worse, even if they are guaranteed. I would maybe like a bit of incentive to spend my 5 tickets a day, because outside of the first run, you don't really have much of a reason. Again, I would still do that, but most players won't. And while I do think S League players should be rewarded more for their efforts, I mean, they're the ones putting more effort into their scores, right? It shouldn't come at the cost of A, B, and C League players. Every league should be getting the same amount of rewards as we were before the guild quest. And of course, depending on the league that you are in, you should be getting more rewards. So like I said, it's not a perfect system. Definitely some room for improvement. Hopefully, Caleb can address some of the complaints that have been going around in the community. And I guess we'll find out if they do plan to make some changes sometime soon. They were quite open to the limit breaker game modes, so hopefully they can respond to the feedback regarding the new guild quest rewards. With that said, let me know what you stand on the guild quest update. Again, I think as of right now, the only complaint is the rewards. So let me know what you guys think about the rewards and also the new difficulty in of itself. I'm going to have some runs going up over the next couple of days, trying out different teams. Since we do have 5 tickets a day, I get to experiment more. So make sure to subscribe for that. With that said, hope you liked the video. I said as next time, take care and peace.